Chris from Stormbringer Magazine. I'm here live from the Metal Fest 2011, together with Alan from Primordial.
Hey, how you doing? All right.
They're playing a really good show tonight. So, how do you enjoy the show? Was it cool for you? Was the crowd okay?
Yeah, no, it was cool. It stopped raining. I know it had been raining all day yesterday, and it was raining in the morning before when we arrived. So it can get really tiring. I think you're at an open air show for the crowd, but it was lucky. We got some good weather, so no, it was cool, and I liked it a lot.
So you released a couple of weeks ago, I think, the new album, The Redemption at the Puritan's Hands. So what can you tell us about that? What is the story of the album? Is it again about Ireland? About the history of Ireland, or what is it at that time?
No, I think that, there's very few songs really that are about, the history of Ireland. Generally what I try to do is to take subjects of, sacrifice or martyrdom or alienation, whatever you want, that can be applicable to whatever particular country you are actually from. A lot of the themes on the new album are about death and redemption. They're about seeking revelation. It's about the spiritual structures we place around our lives to try and make sense of our fear of death. So it's a bit about religion and faith and stuff like that, It doesn't judge that particularly. It's not like particularly, typical anti-Christian heavy metal stuff in that sense. It's just examining people's relationship to death, really.
Is it a little bit like critical about death in a way?
I don't know if you can be critical of death. It's just the album opens up with it doesn't matter which God you pray to, you will all go the same way. And right at that very moment, it doesn't matter who you're praying to, and it just basically the album statement sets out like that. And it's a bit darker than the last album, a little bit more personal, a bit more dealing with, what goes on inside as opposed to external stuff, I guess.
So you talked before the last album you released before the new one, To the Nameless Death. It was, I think this was a really, really successful album, it was a great album, and you get a really big response from the fans and from the press. So was there, for you, for the band, a pressure for the next album, or was it very easygoing?
We've been going for 20 years, we're all in our mid-30s and stuff, and I think maybe if we'd had the success of the last album when we were 20 or 21, we might have found the pressure a bit more profound, but we just approach things the same way we always did. We all gather in rehearsal and we have ideas and we trash it all out and everybody puts in their piece. The only thing that's changed is instead of a tape recorder in the middle of the room is an MP3 recorder, that's it. And we just still do things the really old school way. So yes and no is the answer. A little bit of pressure, but you just have to trust in your own ability,
So the theme of old school, what is for you old school in making music? What is that for you or for Primordial?
Just a traditional rock approach, Bass, drums, vocals, do as much as you can live. Don't fuck about in Pro Tools, don't quantize things, don't digitize things, don't shift vocals in key, don't chop and cut and paste because you're playing stuff in the studio you can't really play live. And it's just live approach to playing music. We're all 70s and 80s heavy metal guys, so that's the attitude that we have,
So you want to catch the spirit while you're recording?
Sure, it's very difficult, but if you can, to me the drum sound on the first Black Sabbath album is better than every drum sound on every album I hear now. Everything is just maximized frequency and range for your iPod headphones, and I just hate that modern sound that,
So you don't like this let me say it, clean sound? You're not a big fan of this?
I don't know if it's clean, I just don't like it. I like
it's like,
yeah, I just, if we could get the drum sound to Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath, that's what I want, but I don't think Martin Birch works anymore, so it's a lost art, We just want to sound like a band playing together, it doesn't sound phoned in or fake or cut up and chopped up and stuff,
It should be real.
I think so,
So when we look at Primordial, I mean, history and things like religion or something is always a theme in the work of Primordial and the lyrics. So did you wrote the lyrics alone, or you wrote them all together? How is that going?
No, I don't think you can kind of group write lyrics. I've always written the lyrics since day one. And just, I think, being the singer, it was easier. I've always been quite lyrical and literal, just very interested in the English language and interested in, you know, playwrights and poets and writers. And I always think that was maybe my thing. Words are, you know, something I can deal with, you know, in the sense that it's a trade-off, you know. The idea for the main riff might come from Kieran. That's his thing, this is and then we put them together and work on it together, you know. But yeah, I've always written the lyrics. I don't know how I'd feel about singing somebody else's lyrics in that sense, you know. It just seems to work better. I do it, I form the themes and the concepts and the art and that kind of stuff, you know. So
you write the lyrics for your own, and do you have any influences? Do you look at any points when you said, okay, we write a new album? Do you have sometimes any theme or anything you're really interested about? Like you said in the last time, you're dealing with death or something like that.
It really could be anything. It could be, you can be influenced by somebody you meet, an inspirational person. You become interested in a certain part of history, places you travel. And I think that maybe To the Nameless Dead, we were looking at, you know, nationhood and statehood and how people relate to a certain part of the earth that they believe is theirs. Or when I was traveling around Europe, well, and America and stuff, I would be looking at the cenotaphs and the war monuments and this kind of thing. With this album, I began to look at the cathedrals and look at the religious element, especially in medieval Europe and stuff, and I became really fascinated by the Reformation and, you know, the historical themes of religion and how we relate to those. So, and I suppose being from Ireland, you know, we have a very sort of interesting religious conflict that's been going on there, you know, socially and.
What do you think about this conflict? What's going on there in Ireland? What is your view about that?
Well, you know, I can see both sides' point of view. I mean, it's not in the south; it's really in the north. It's a very long, complicated, difficult subject to explain from somebody externally. But you know, both sides have legitimate claims to their culture and their reasons for their own particular view of history. You know, I think the truth is very often grey. It's not necessarily black and white. But for somebody who is faithless or godless or, you know, advocates fact and science over myth, trying to reason with somebody who genuinely believes, you know, that the word of law is the word of the Bible or whatever is, you can't argue with somebody like that, you know. This is our land given to us by God. I mean, that doesn't work, you know.
And what is your spirit? What is your intention when you're going through life and watching the world and all the things that happen in this world? What is your intention to going out there on stage, performing and?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, it's like I always was very interesting when you're performing live. You always try to get to people. You always run around and show the people and.
Just a case of saying what you mean and meaning what you say. I mean, if you're playing music that actually means something to you and you're standing behind it, I have no fear of standing on a stage. It doesn't bother me to, you know, like if I stood up there singing about zombies, I don't think I could do the same thing, you know? It's just, but the Primordial, we don't know how to do it any different. It is the way it is. We don't have anything to compare it to.
It's all about heart. The heart.
This is Tom from While Heaven Wept.
And that's why us playing together makes sense, because what we sing about is from the heart. He sings about heritage and culture, and we're singing about bitches who have done all fuck us up, but it's still from the heart, you know what I mean? And the point is that, you know, it's clearly a passion, and it wouldn't matter if there was one person in the audience or 100,000.
There has been people in the audience before. You just do that. No, you just keep on keeping on, and you know, it's not. you know, when we've been playing in bands for 20 years, and it's not made us rich, it's not made us, you know, I mean, it's your life's passion and work, and the line between all those things becomes blurred because you are the band. This is what defines you. Your statement of how you relate to the world is made with that album, you know. And I think what we're all trying to do is make something timeless, something that if either one of us drop dead tomorrow, you know, in 10 years' time, somebody can pick up and go, okay, Lane with the Wolf, or, you know, Vast Oceans, Lacrimosa, whatever, and go, okay, you've made something to outlast yourself, you know.
So you want to create music, what will survive you?
Well, see, the difference is, and Tom would probably agree, is that we're artists, we're not entertainers. A live show can be entertaining, but we're not entertainers, and so we make a stand against, musically, I think, against the 3-minute sort of pop monoculture that we live in, you know, which sort of says, you know, I can see kids sometimes in the crowd are like, what the fuck are they doing? There's no chorus coming, or they're like, look, have some patience, you'll get to it. You may not understand it now, but in time, probably, you know. And I think there's a terrible disease at the moment. Everybody wants an instant fix, like a sugar rush for modern heavy metal.
It's from America, I'm pretty sure. It's like the fast food society bullshit, and we live with it as well, you know. But the thing is that I think what is brilliant about this Alcest Primordial While I Haven't Wept is that we were all singing from the soul, from the heart, and we mean every word. We've lived every word. You know, it's in our fucking souls. And so thus, you know, you can roll out there and indulge in this 15 minutes of fame or whatever, but you know what? I'll still be an old man and singing my sorrows because it's the way I continue to live. You know what I mean? And I think this is the same for Alan.
You can't. Know? Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I could.
Well, he is a bit heartless, so he doesn't. He didn't know about the heart. But
it's a piece of flint in a vacuum. That's what it is. No, this is it. I just think that nobody. I mean, we don't know any different. This just is the way it is, and you accept it. I don't know how to do that. To sit there and go, right, in a very calculated way, okay, what's popular, let's put a band together and take this element and that element and that element, and a chorus from here, and a middle eight from here, and a bit here, blah, 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 blah. Here we go, right, okay, and all of a sudden, I can't comprehend how to do that. And
it's coming all from the heart and from the mind.
I mean, look, I'll explain it like this, and the best way I can explain it, right, I don't have any kids. If I have kids, right?
You know of.
Yeah. And let's say when I'm 50, right? So my kids would be 14 then if I had them like now. I'm 36 now this summer. So in 10 or 14 years, say whoever, you know, my kid comes up and goes, oh, so this is what you wasted your life doing, singing about zombies, fast cars, fucking how metal you were, and
big tits.
Yeah, you know, you had a chance to communicate a message to the world or communicate something of yourself, and you chose to spend it on, like, there's no chink of you know, people can find it a bit oppressively serious, but at the same time I think, you know,
you've represented Ireland properly, and you should be proud of it, but don't let it go to your head because it's already kind of big, you know.
No, it's just say what you mean and mean what you say. I think it's very simple, very pure. Just be pure and be honest, and don't ever fucking compromise. I think is the best.
Okay, so what is about the other acts? I mean, you have also the act Blood Revolt.
Yeah.
And Twilight of the Gods. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Blood Revolt is a band I have with Jay and Chris from Axis of Advance and Revenge, 2 Canadian guys. It's just absolutely violent, brutal, unforgiving, almost like war metal with my vocals over it. And it's a sort of theme album about a guy basically falling down, you know, going through the cracks of society, through drugs, through all sorts of stuff, and eventually finds religion and becomes a suicide bomber. It's sort of written in the first-person diary form. Some people don't like it, which is great. It's great to inspire either love or hate. And a lot of people were like really confused by the mix of a clean vocal and like absolute grinding sort of war metal, you know. But, you know, you got to take challenges. You got to do something different. Sometimes you've got to do a couple of different things to challenge yourself and try and imagine yourself, re-energize yourself with different things. And as long as I have energy, I'll just keep doing it. Twilight of the Gods, basically, I was sitting in the pub with a friend of mine, and I said it would be awesome if Primordial did a Bathory tribute show. Then I realized they're too lazy, we would never do that. So he made me a bet, put a band together to do it. So I said, all right, I will. And in 5 months we played these. I asked some friends, and I just thought it would be, those albums are 20 years old, it would be a really good time to just play some Bathory songs, you know. Of course, some people bitch and moan and complain, you know, armchair critics sitting on the fence of life. And it takes balls to stand on stage and try and play Bathory songs. But it wasn't Bathory. It was 5 guys paying tribute, and they didn't buy me a fucking new west wing of my house or whatever. It's just, if you enjoy Bathory, you came and saw it and you liked it, great. If not, not a big deal.
Good. Let me throw this out there. How did it feel to represent Bathory when Quorthon himself did not ever perform?
Well, that's the thing, is that I understand that you're
Rebecca.
Yeah, you're tackling people's dreams of Bathory, you know. And for a lot of people, Bathory is sacred, you know, which it was for me, you know. So, but
you have dreams of Bathory, don't you?
Not really.
it's
What?
No. Sometimes
We're gonna go drink.
you're drinking whiskey again.
yeah. No, it's just a sacred thing, but it was just reverential, and it was to pay tribute. That's all it was.
It was good. I mean, for me, it was very interesting. I'm 24 years old, so you know, I'm not that age. So it was interesting to see. I must say, also after this, I'm starting to listen to the old Bathory stuff. I listen to all the stuff too, but I only want to.
If you did, then that's great. That's the whole point. Keeping good music alive, you know.
Keep it alive, because you know what, Quorthon was taken from us far too soon.
That's true.
Far too soon, and he had so much more to give. I mean, he was constantly evolving. You realize he was one of those.
He wasn't even 40, actually, you know. So he wasn't that much older than we are, you know.
And you consider that when Bathory began, it was a very Venom-inspired thing, and it was very raw. But all the different angles and perspectives that he took in the future, he started to embrace his heritage. He
set the blueprint for about 4 different musical styles, one album after the other.
Exactly, and you know what?
At least
be celebrated.
At least without Bathory, Primordial would not be the same. It was the first band.
This is really the big influences in Primordial. The biggest.
Because it showed us that you can make big, epic songs about your culture,
despite being from Ireland.
Yeah, and not in a cartoon way. You could do it and be serious and make these big, moving soundscapes and yeah, and he just. Every album, I remember the first album was Under Sign of Black Mark I bought, so it was 87.
Oh,
and even that's
Christ.
the blueprint for most.
Woman of dark desires.
So what we can then await from Primordial in the next time? So we should
More just traveling, hopefully some places we haven't been, going on tour with more cool bands.
Oh no, it's not about us, man. But I will say that Waham Web is also very much Bathory inspired, and that's why this makes sense.
Yeah,
you know, because it's different perspectives on the same influence, and the same ambition and the vision. You know, so
and our relationship to alcohol is fairly similar as well. So
yes, we like to drink as well.
So
if you didn't recognize this, I mean, wait a minute, where's your beer?
Oh, right, okay.
You haven't even touched it this entire time, man. Cheers.
Cheers to everyone then.
I will say thank you for this interview. It was very interesting to take a talk with you together. Thank you that you're joining us. So please use it. The last word are yours for our fans out there.
All right. Joy and strength. That's all I need to say.
Love and peace and death.
Thank you.
No problem.